Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Manufacturing Alliance podcast. As always, I'm your host, Tony DeMakis with Alliance Specialties and Laser Sales, where we are mold makers that don't build molds. We do all the things that mold makers don't want to do. We do the polishing, the laser welding, laser engraving, hot runner repair, preventative mold maintenance, and we also have the what I'm going to say, because it's what's been proven, the only completely American-made laser welding and laser engraving systems for repair that are being made, that are being sold. We have these, we build them in our Prairie Grove Laser Development Center, and we'd love to have you come out and see what we're doing and the technology that we're working with and creating. Aside from the machines that we typically sell, we do out-of-the-box solutions all the time. So if you have a custom process that you need, that you can't find somebody to help you solve those problems with, we would love to take a look at it and try that out and work with you hand in hand. So next thing, I'm wearing this awesome new shirt. This shirt was put together by our friends at Dramco International Steel and Alliance. It's representing the fallen 13 from Afghanistan. On the back has all the names of the fallen soldiers. And what we're doing is we're selling these shirts for $20 a piece. We started this at a Merimold last week, continued at our golf outing, and all of that money is going to go to the families of the fallen. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and put it in the chat. Send us an email, and we will tell you how you can get your own shirt. Yep. We are live, which is awesome. So hopefully we got some people watching that want to participate. This conversation is for you. It's for the people that are watching, looking for new technology, wanting to learn what's going on in manufacturing. So we want to hear from you, and we want you to be part of our conversation. So whether you're watching on Instagram, whether you're watching on Facebook or LinkedIn, please go ahead and put your questions in the chat, and we will get to them right away. We're excited for today's show. We've got a brand new technology that we're talking about. So it's super exciting for us and hopefully for the people that are watching. So I'm just going to go ahead and get us kicked off here. I apologize in advance for my voice. This is 3 days at the trade show, going out, eating, drinking, having fun, talking too much, having a golf outing afterwards, a lot of yelling, screaming, and enjoyment. So I apologize that I sound like I was on an all-night bender. I promise I wasn't. You can call my wife and ask, and she will tell you that, hopefully, that she will tell you that, but it's truth. So I'm going to bring in a couple of my new friends. Dana McCallum, we've known for a long time. She's been on the show a few times, formerly with Carbon, and also Paul. Paul was also from Carbon, and now they're with Mantle, and I'm going to bring them in, and we're going to jump into some nitty gritty here. So let's welcome our friends in here. They're all on full screen. Let's shut that off. Oh, come on. Sorry, guys. I'm new to this. Never done it before. Oh, there's Dana. And there's Paul. All right. So welcome, guys. Sorry for that nightmare. It's been a couple weeks, and you lose practice. If you don't use it, you lose it.
That's right. Thanks for having us, Tony. Great to see you.
Yeah. So why don't you guys, Dana, if you want to go first, give people a brief recap on who you are and where you're at now, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Tony, thanks for having us on today. I've been a part of these before, and they're so fun. I know you do these every week, and I just want to thank you for all of your hard work behind the podcasts and bringing together leaders within the manufacturing industry. Thanks for having me today. I'm the VP of Sales at Mantle. Prior to Mantle, I was at Carbon, part of their sales team, and one of their first sales team members. And then before that, I was at Togus, an injection molder here in Cleveland, Ohio. While at Carbon, Paul and I worked together, and I had followed him on his career path. And when he joined Mantle, he was introducing me to the technology, and it seemed really interesting. I'm very excited to continue to learn. This is my second week on the job. And we're focusing on the tooling application. And that's what really drew me in, is the technology being a hybrid technology, as well as the focus around being really great at an application. And so excited to join Paul and the Mantle team and bring the technology to market.
I mean, so far, what I know of you, everywhere you've gone, you've done an awesome job. I love seeing you guys at the show. I have no doubt that that same energy, enthusiasm, and knowledge that you've brought from the first time I met you at the molding conference is going to
Yeah.
translate over to Mantle. So, welcome to the show once again, Paul. Give us your little rundown, would you?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Tony. And I fully agree. Dana's a superstar. We're so lucky to have her. But yeah, I'm Paul DiLaua. So I'm the Chief Commercial Officer here at Mantle, which means basically responsible for the go-to-market activities, marketing, sales, applications, and so forth. And I worked with Dana at Carbon. As she said, I was there for 4 years as we kind of launched the technology and rolled it out across a variety of different industries and applications. And then prior to that, I spent 10 years at Dassault Systems, the software company behind SolidWorks and CATIA and a lot of the design and simulation tools that are used by manufacturers worldwide.
Uh-oh.
And just thrilled to be here at Mantle and happy to tell you more about what we're doing here. But thanks for having us on the show.
Yeah, it's great to have you guys here, and it's especially cool because it's a technology that I don't think people are yet aware of. Right? It's kind of been hinted at a little bit here and there, right? Like it's that best kept secret or worst kept secret, I should say. Like, what is Mantle? It's coming. What is Mantle? It's coming. And it seemed like at a Merimold last week, that was kind of the launching of it. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that is. Yeah, that was the first show that we attended and where we exhibited and where we kind of told the community what we're up to and showed parts and that type of thing. But we've been around for a while developing the technology, almost 6 years. But for almost that entire 6 years, we were operating in a really quiet way, just developing the technology and working with a few companies, mold makers in particular, some molders and OEMs to get requirements and give us feedback as we develop the technology. And then earlier this year, we officially launched, we updated our website and told some more folks about what we're doing. And then the show last week, Amerimold last week, and the molding conference last week was the first time that we really had a presence and engaged with the community in person a lot more, which is great. It was a great week.
Yeah, and so how was that received by? I mean, Amerimold is mainly a mold making expo, right? This year there were some molders, there was an additive division of it, but I mean, mold makers. What's their perception? What was their response? Do they feel threatened? Are they embracing that technology? I mean, what did you guys feel from them?
Yeah, we were thrilled with the response that we got. Overall, I think people are excited about what we're doing because it's very different. It's very different than what's been done with 3D printing in the past. And we're also exclusively focused on mold building, on tool making. So we've developed the technology to be really good at making precise metal components. So things with high accuracy, high surface finish. And the only application area that we're focused on is tooling. Things like cavities and cores and sprue bushings. And so we want to be part of that community. We want to be a technology provider to tool makers as they build their much larger mold. We're providing a component of the mold, typically the cavity or the core and that type of thing. And we were really pleased with the reaction that we got and how different it is from what else has been done with 3D printing and the fact that we're really focused on the needs of this market. We're really excited about the market and about the reaction we've gotten so far.
I think, Tony, just to comment on the competitiveness, if they viewed us as, competition or, were they nervous about us? I think they're excited. It's new technology, and our approach to market is to partner with the mold builders and partner with the mold makers or the injection molders. It's not necessarily for us to print parts. Our job is to make a good product of the machines and materials and software. And then we want to enable the partners to print parts for themselves or for their customers. And so if we have potential leads coming to us who just want parts made, they don't necessarily want the technology in-house, we'll make introductions to our partners so they can make the parts for them.
Yep. And I think that's a little bit of a shift from what we've heard in the past of 3D printers, right? Whether it's plastic printers or metal printers or whatever, that's what always strikes me is that disconnect that I think these 3D printing companies have is that mold makers are, I mean, I don't want to pigeonhole them, but a lot of them know, right? Like they get they get stuck in this way and they feel very comfortable in how they make things. And this is just how we make them. And in the past, what I would hear from people is that this technology is taking over. And so it put up this red flag to mold makers that said like, oh, you're coming for us. You're coming for our job. So I think this approach is totally different and unique and in a good way.
No, thanks. Yeah, it's important for us to engage in the market in that way. We don't want to, there are incredibly tight relationships between OEMs and molders and mold makers, and we don't want to replace those relationships or get in the middle of those relationships. We want to be a technology provider to help make those relationships stronger.
Yeah, and Hillary from Westminster jumped on, and she's on LinkedIn, and she says hello, obviously, and she said, "Great point, great point to Dana. You guys have done a great job connecting us with other people." So I'm gonna guess that's a spoiler of things to come.
That's right. Yeah, we're proud to announce. It's actually announced last week that we've partnered with Westminster Tool, the great team at Westminster, and they're going to be getting our first systems early next year.
And honestly, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's no surprise for me to say that I'm a fanboy of Westminster. I love everybody over there. I love their process. I love what they do. I love that they embrace technology, the whole idea of curiosity. I mean, I keep telling them that if I get kicked out of Alliance, I'm coming to Connecticut for a job. It's more of a threat than a promise, I think. But it doesn't surprise me that they would be the company that sees us and goes, yeah, we got to have this. This is going to change the way that we do business for our customers.
Yeah, it's been wonderful working with them. We've learned so much from Westminster, and they're just a great partner.
So how? Oh, wait, she's coming back. We're proud to be a partner, but Tony, you're hitting really great points about the industry. Tell me more, Hillary. Join our conversation. Poor Hillary has, she's just sitting at home waiting to have her baby. And
yes, how exciting.
There must not be anything better on TV right now. Oh, Paul's gone black on our screen, so I don't know why. But there's a big bar at the bottom. He's still there. So if you guys have questions for him, feel free to ask those. So you guys both came from carbon, right? How has that transition been from the plastic side of things or the consumable side of things, I would say, to building intricate parts for tooling?
I'll let Paul speak since this is my second week. Paul has more experience than I do at this point.
Thanks. Hopefully you can still, I had some connectivity problems here. Hopefully you can see and hear me okay.
Yep.
But the question I think was related to how does metal 3D printing and what we're doing for tool making compare to the world of plastic 3D printing and the world of say what carbon is doing, which is where Dana and I came from. And there are certainly some parallels and overlaps, but there are a lot of differences. And I think one of the key differences is just the focus that Mantle is taking to a particular application around tool making. Carbon and many other 3D printers have great technologies that are, in many cases, general purpose or could be applied to a variety of applications. But what we're doing at Mantle is really focusing our efforts on tool making and making sure that we meet the requirements of the tool making application.
Oh, he paused here.
What we have. Oh, can you hear me, Tony?
Yep, we got you. You paused for a brief second, but
okay. Oh gosh, sorry about that. So we need to have the materials, right? We need to have the tool steels, the H13, P20, and more in the future. We need to be able to meet the accuracy requirements, the surface finish requirements, the quality and consistency requirements. And then we've got to be able to deliver some unique value, whether that includes, in our case, it's generally a faster lead time. Many cases, it can be lower cost. And then the ability to incorporate things like conformal cooling or unique geometries that help with thermal management. And so all of those components need to be there in order for us to be able to deliver real value and be relevant for tool makers. And so that's one of the key differences, is that we have to be able to meet all those requirements for tooling, whereas other companies either don't meet those requirements or don't focus on those requirements.
As far as actually making the tooling instead of making parts.
Instead of making parts or having materials maybe that aren't suitable for tooling.
Yeah. And So when I was there and I was talking to Dana and the rest of the team over at Amerimold, you guys were talking about how tight the tolerances are for these parts. How are you able to achieve those kinds of results where other companies, frankly, they just can't?
Sure. Well, there's a lot that goes into it, but I think one of the key things is what Dana touched on earlier, which is that it's a hybrid process. So we use both 3D printing as well as traditional machining, subtractive machining, in order to help achieve the tight tolerances that we achieve and the surface finish that we achieve. And so, and there are others that do that combine additive and subtractive, or 3D printing and machining. But they're generally doing that on things that are already hardened steels. They're machining hardened steels. We're doing it a little bit differently. We actually start with a metal paste. Think of it like a toothpaste that we print, and then we machine it when it's still essentially in the paste format.
Okay.
And so it's much softer and easier to machine. It's kind of like machining foam. And so we can machine really quickly and take it, and we don't add a lot of stresses into the parts as we're machining them. And then it goes into a sintering furnace where all the metal particles kind of fuse together, and you're left with a solid metal part that accuracy that's suitable for some types of molds. And now we know that some molds and some tools are going to have.
Oh my gosh, Paul, what are you doing to us?
Cutting out.
It's okay. We got most of it. We got most of it in. So when it comes to like the porosity of the material, how is it for finishing parts? Because I know in the past we've looked at different systems to have in our facility because of what we do, right? When we need to have new inserts made, when we're doing mold repair and things like that. So we've investigated a few systems in the past, and the parts look great, but there's still a lot of finishing that needs to be done to the part.
Yeah.
How does that look with Mantle parts?
Yeah, that's one of the key differences, is that our parts, when they come out of our process, when they're finished coming out of our machine, have, yes, surface finish and accuracy that's much closer to what you need for end use tooling. Yeah, thanks, Dana. Now, but we recognize in many cases, we have a lot of examples where people are able to mold right away with what comes right out of our technology. But we recognize there are going to be cases when
this is kind of like fill in the blanks. We could play a game that, like, if Paul freezes, we just, like, Dana, you have to say the, like,
I know, I
next
need to
thing.
step in here. And
You just got to say the next thing. It's going to be like Mad Libs.
Yeah. Am I back?
You're back.
You're back.
Okay. So gosh, I'm so sorry here.
No worries. Nobody's watching anyway, so it's fine.
All right. So the
Hillary.
But just a final point there is we focused our material efforts on making sure that you can do all the standard post processes. You can polish, you can texture, you can grind, machine, EDM, all the stuff that you would normally do to molds and to steels. You can do it with our materials too.
And what is the I just brain farted totally. What's the longevity of the parts?
Sure. Well, so that's data. We're still collecting that type of data. What we've got so far is, and what we know is that our H13 material is chemically equivalent to normal H13. So it should behave just like standard H13. We announced last week a project with Tessie Plastics where they're using our inserts in production. Yeah, Dana's got that. The one she's
right, hold on. Let's
Paul thankfully shared his parts with me. So
so that one's running in production right now, over 400,000 cycles on it. It's a big 32 cavity tool that has one of our P20 type inserts and one of our H13 inserts in it. So we expect our P20 material will eventually wear out because it's got a lower hardness, but the H13 we expect to behave just like standard H13. But we're still collecting that data. We can't point to huge studies that have completed yet in order to provide that data.
But 400,000 parts, and it's still running. And those parts that are coming off the mold are being shipped to customers, which is pretty impressive.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can you take these parts when they're in the post process after they've been polished? Can you then take them and plate them or put DLC coating? Because that's going to increase that longevity of the part as well, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, certainly. In fact, at Amerimold last week, we had a part that was DLC coated.
Yeah, Scott thought of that, which was awesome. Scott's been in the manufacturing and molding industry for 31 years, I think. So
Yep.
he comes from tooling, he understands, and he's tried out the polishing and the coating now. So super helpful to understand, all of those post processes that we can do with the tool.
And Daniel Miller's on LinkedIn. He says machining a pre-sintered paste versus metal should also greatly reduce tool wear, more accuracy. Very cool technology.
Hey, Daniel, good to see you.
He's from Carbon too, eh?
Yeah,
That's
we've
right.
worked with Daniel for a while. He's awesome.
He's awesome.
I still don't have carbon shoes. Still,
Ah.
it's like 4 years later, and and they don't love me enough to send me carbon shoes. They did.
You can buy them now, though.
Yeah, I guess.
Eddie. Just saw
So-
Eddie's comment.
All of those things. Yeah. Eddie Graff says Scott is an awesome resource. Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
indeed. Yeah.
Of course. So when it comes to onshoring, this is definitely a benefit, right?
Yeah, we think so. Dan, do you want to speak to that?
I was just at a leadership conference last week with Harbor Results. And it was interesting. I took a couple months off of work, July and August and a little bit of September. And so just to hear all the tool makers and molders around the table talking about the demands are increasing, they're having growth issues and challenges, not many issues, I would say challenges and good problems. But it's because reshoring is happening. And so there's, a bunch of increased demand here in the US, and we're starting with finding partners like Westminster here in the United States to have our technology. So we can certainly help with making molds, making inserts, cavities, cores, et cetera, for companies here in the US. Of course, they can also choose to ship internationally as well. But we know that reshoring is happening, and it's causing increased demands here in the US.
So when it comes to training new people, right? Kids coming out of school, people that have never had experience as building a mold builder, do you guys feel that this is going to be an easier technology for them to learn and be a part of, as opposed to say a traditional method of mold making?
I don't know if Paul's frozen. Is he there? I think he might be.
He's there. He's staring at us, but I don't know if he's answerable. Dana, what do you think on that?
I hear him. You're back, Paul. No? So from my understanding, I'll take the lead here, and then if we get Paul back, he can. Oh, I think he's back. Hi, Paul.
Hello.
You want to take the lead on that question?
Sure. So if I caught it correctly, the question was about attracting new folks to the tool making, and if we think our technology can help with that. And yeah, we're really excited about that. And I think related to your prior question, Tony, about onshoring, one of the challenges that I think we see a lot in the industry is the challenge of finding the skilled labor that's necessary to make tools and run CNC machines and program the machines. But it's not required. You don't need to do CNC programming to operate our equipment. And
Okay.
so that's one thing that we think will make it a lot easier for companies to take on more work, because they're not necessarily going to be constrained by the programming skills. And then the second thing is, yeah, we hope that as a new 3D printing technology, that's attractive to
Yeah, I think anything that you can do that's going to bring in that's going to bring in new eyes with new equipment. I mean, kids are interested in it. I mean, they want to do 3D printing. They've got 3D printing at schools. There's more 3D printing going on at schools than there are machining classes. So I think this is going to be a new way to get kids excited and interested in the industry and what's going on. Richard Evans, our good friend Richard Evans, we just spent a lot of time with him at Amerimold as well. He says, any capacity to work together with consulting companies to help bring the technology to mold builders that might not be aware of it. As an independent mold designer, I try to point out trouble spots on the tool that could benefit from conformal cooling. Most of the time, my customers would like to see what the alternatives would look like.
Yeah. It's a great question, and we think that conformal cooling is in particular is one of those areas where there's a lot of opportunity for design expertise and consultancy and helping everybody think about how to incorporate new designs. And historically, people have been really limited because it's typically been more expensive to do conformal cooling or taken longer to do conformal cooling. And by not making that the case, with Mantle, it can be faster and less expensive. And so we think that there's an opportunity for a lot more conformal cooling. We're excited, that's not expertise that we at Mantle necessarily have. We're excited for consultants and tool designers to really run with that, and we can provide them some tools to help bring it into production.
So Hill, when you guys are building these molds, Paul has already said it's less expensive. So just, he just killed your profit margin there. He just crushed it.
Sorry, Hillary, that's not what we got. There's still a huge amount of work around all the design and the full mold build that's very, very valuable. We don't want to get in the way of that.
I think if you're increasing the turnaround time, the value is there, right? Most times right now, mold builders, from what we're seeing, what we're experiencing, they don't have the resources and the machining time open to be able to do all that they're trying to do. So the fact that this could be less expensive, faster, and just as reliable, I mean, those are all lights out, easy decisions.
Yep.
We hope so.
Great. Echoing what Paul just said, working with consultants like Richard, we certainly want to educate them and bring them into our world so they can learn, and of course we can learn from them as well. So we certainly want to create those relationships with consultants to enable them to provide more solutions to their customers.
Yeah, Richard is a great resource. I mean, the guy is just working nonstop. And trying to build that network. So, I mean, he's doing it right. He's a good guy. So I don't know if he's a good golfer. I didn't see him hit the ball at all, but he was there.
He was having fun though.
Chase Dickinson says, I'd like to see more talk in the industry between the relationships of plasticating parts, screws, barrels, screw tips, and the tool side. The super tight tolerances for some parts can be aided in the form of a very homogeneous melt by software on the injection side. I don't even have anything to add to that. Chase, that was way over my head there. But do you guys got any thoughts on Chase's comment there?
Well, yes. Thanks, Chase, for the comment. We certainly know that holding tight tolerance is key for some applications. Paul, do you have any other?
Yeah, I'm back now. No, I think that there's a lot of opportunity. We talk a lot about cavities and cores and screw bushings and things, but a lot of opportunity for other kinds of components inside of a mold as well. Cashew gates and different components where precision and speed are going to be really valuable. So we're and that's where hopefully
where the technology is going and where you're going to be able to use it in other areas. Awesome.
Right. Yep.
I just read your mind. It's like we're totally in sync.
We are.
That's how well we've developed this relationship.
Thanks, Tony.
So if people are interested in Mantle, in getting some sample parts, right? Because how do you know if you're interested in the technology unless you see it firsthand? Yeah. Are you guys offering to do like a sample part for somebody if they have the drawings, if they have the file data? How can they see the technology in action and know if it's right for them?
Yeah, absolutely. We're doing a few things. First thing we're doing is going to trade shows and showing parts, but of course that doesn't work for everybody, and we don't all get a chance to get together in person all the time. So we'll ship out samples, some generic samples. Typically, we'll start by shipping out a kit of generic sample parts so people can actually get the experience of holding and feeling and touching a part.
Yep.
But then we do just what you described. So we'll engage typically around a project where somebody's got a real tool or a real insert they want to evaluate. We'll print it, they run it. We like to be involved to get feedback and hear how it's going. And that's how people get firsthand experience and hopefully some confidence with the technology.
So what would be the right projects, right? Because there's right and wrong projects.
Sure.
Is there a size requirement? Is there a capacity?
Yeah.
What would be the ideal project that you would see that you would say, yeah, if you're doing X, Y, and Z,
Yeah.
we could be an option for you, or the Mantle process would be the right option for you?
Yeah, we have a set of design guidelines that we can share with people to really help narrow in what's best. But in general, our build volume is going to be 8x8x6 in our production machines. We're not quite there yet. Right now, we're printing parts about 4x5, 5x5 is the maximum. So if we can work within that envelope, we're going to be more successful. And then we have a set of other kind of more specific design guidelines that we can work with folks to make sure that they understand, before we take on a project. But really, any sort of cavity core set or stack that kind of falls within that size range. Obviously, where our materials are going to help, we only have an H13 and a P20 material. So if they need something where our properties are not going to work, then it's not going to be a good fit. But within that ballpark, we can typically find something that is a good project.
And so if somebody's interested, how do they get a hold of you? How do they get more information about Mantle? How do they send you drawings? What's next steps for somebody that's watching?
Sure. Well, that's why Dana's here. Dana knows everybody. So get in touch
email
with
me, dana.mccallum@mantle3d.com, or you can go to Mantle's website, mantle3d.com, and send us a form or fill out a form on that page, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that that Alliance is going to have some people that are interested in trying out this technology. And I'm excited for Westminster to get that technology so that we can work with them in passing some of that along. We work with them a lot on other projects. So this will just be another extension of what we can do together. So when are you anticipating people are going to be able to, call up Mantle and say, I need one of these machines? What's the plan?
Yeah, so our plan is we're shipping our first systems early next year. And those we're calling our first couple systems beta systems. And that'll be in the first quarter. And then the plan is to ship our production systems, our first production systems, starting in the second half of next year. And so we're working with folks already right now who are interested in those systems. And some people have already put down deposits for those systems. And we intend for that first cohort of customers, the roughly 10 to 15 shipments that we're going to have next year. We want to work really, really closely with that group, along with the beta customers, provide a high level of service, get a lot of feedback, and make sure we're going in the right direction with our roadmap. So we're really focused on working with those people who are interested in being part of that right now.
I know when I was talking to Scott, he was mentioning that slow launch, right?
Yeah.
I think it's so smart. I think there's so many companies that they go out gangbusters and they want to sell 1 million systems, and you just don't have the infrastructure to support it.
Yeah.
And when you're buying something like this, when you're investing in this kind of technology, I mean, there's going to be a lot of hands-on, right? There's going to be a lot of calls and comforting and, scratch your back and say, it's okay, we're going to get through this together. If you go, balls to the wall and you just sell 1 million of these things right off the gate, yeah, it's great for the numbers, but you can't service that marketplace.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
we want to be close. We want to understand how our customers are using the print or the machines. What can we do better? So we want to make sure that they are successful in the beginning.
Yeah. So one of the things that we do on the show, I want to give everybody a little heads up. Our show, since Hillary and I started the chat and chow, the lunchtime function, was to have was for it to be all about positivity and encouragement, no negativity, just positivity. That doesn't mean you can't talk about hurdles and complications, but you can't do it in a way that's just complaining. So one of the ways that we inject positivity is through our prayer time. So if you have any prayers, if you're watching, any prayer requests, anything that you want us to mention, go ahead and put that in the chat. I don't know if you guys have any prayer requests, but we would be happy to jot those down and make note of them as well. So
just for everyone to stay healthy.
Yeah. That seems to be the ongoing one. But that's going to be forever. I mean, there's always going to be sickness.
Yeah.
Mary Kate says there's not always going to be sickness. She's shaking her head at me.
I like that optimism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's positive.
She just says there's no comments. I misunderstood her shaking her head. So I know you guys are limited on time. You got a lot going on. We've been on for about 35 minutes. We got a little bit of time left. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you guys want to dig into real quick? I just want to make sure that we respect your time and get all the information out that we need to.
Sure. No, thanks. This has been great. I think we covered a lot of ground here. Nothing I can think of that major that we didn't cover. Dana, what about you?
No, we'll be at a couple upcoming shows. We're going to be attending the Harbor Results Tooling Conference in a couple of weeks.
Where's that?
That's it's outside of Detroit in Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll be there, and then we're debating on a few others. So something like MAP, or I think there's something next year, the plastics.
The PT Expo. We'll definitely be there.
Yeah. So we look forward to meeting all of you there and continuing to build our network.
Trade shows are back. It's a thing.
That's
it's
fun.
a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always good to see everybody and be face to face with the community and actually be able to, tell real stories, not just talk over Zoom. Zoom is fine. The Harbor Results Tooling Conference is in Southfield, Michigan. Nice job, Mary Kate.
Woohoo!
She's fast.
Yeah, very fast.
Very thorough. She's on it.
All right.
She's definitely on it. Yeah, we're going to try and be at some of those shows. PT Expos in our backyard. I don't know yet if we're going to exhibit, but we'll definitely be stopping by. The other one that we're looking at is MD&M East, I think, in New York this year. So we may be going out there in December. It's a medical conference. So, they need those tight tolerance parts. Yeah. So it's going to be something that, could open some opportunities for you guys and
yeah. And the lead time in medical is so critical, especially during the prototyping phase. We get a lot of interest. I would say that's the number one industry where we're getting interest right now is medical and other industries as well. But that's definitely the top one. And for there's interest in production tooling, but a lot of interest in prototype tooling as well. During the prototyping process, being able to mold with the production plastics, the production materials, production process. That's been really a lot of interest, and we think that's pretty exciting.
Awesome. It's all good stuff. I love new technology. It's fun. It's exciting, and seeing all the parts that you guys had, that was, it's unique. Even the finish without the polishing was better than most of the finish I've seen from other metal printing companies. So kudos to you for doing an awesome job in developing a technology that can actually make a difference and be something that people want. So it's exciting to talk to you guys on this level, at this, in the beginning.
Yeah, and we should do a shout out to the internal team, Paul. You know them obviously a lot better than I do, but
the team's been working hard for about 6 years now, building up the technology. A lot of really talented people in our materials team, chemists and metallurgists, our software team, mechanical and engineering and systems engineering teams. It's a very diverse team. A lot of different disciplines come together to do what we do, and it's great to talk to you, Tony, and get hear your excitement and your interest in new technologies. We love it. We're passionate about it, so it's fun to talk to others who are as well.
Yeah, where is Mantle located out of?
It's in San Francisco, California.
Okay,
come visit and let me know when you're going out there so I can go out there too.
Yeah, please. We love visitors, and I should have mentioned. You asked how people can learn more.
Yep.
We also do things like virtual tours where we show the equipment and show the process, and then physical tours where people can come and see it. We're open. We love that.
Awesome. And Daniel jumps in right here at the last minute. Daniel Miller again. He says 3D printing has let us iterate prototypes for a while. Being able to iterate a tool is going to be powerful. Good luck, Paul and Dana, and the whole Mantle team. Yeah, we have a facility out in Montclair, California. So I'm out there a little bit, and not that San Francisco is that close to LA, but it's closer than Illinois.
It's closer, yeah.
Short flight.
Yeah, so I would love to do that. I would love to do one of these shows from the facility and maybe even do a full tour and show the technology and everything that's going on. So I think that could be exciting as well. So I know you guys got to go, so I'm going to pray for us real quick, and then we'll do a quick wrap up and get out of here. So Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for this opportunity to talk to Paul and Dana. Thank you for the technology that they're helping to bring to market. We just pray that you would be able to use that technology to speed up things that are needed in the medical community, that new technologies would continue to keep people healthy and safe, and that you would be guiding that this technology would be used for your good and for your glory. And we just pray that you would watch over everybody that's listening, and everybody that they know and everybody that they know, that you would help us to get through whatever we're going through safely, and that you would be with us, and we would know you're there. We trust you with everything, and it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Dana, Paul, thank you guys for being part of the show. I know it was last minute. We're going to throw him under the bus. Bob was actually supposed to be on today.
Bob Gafford?
Yep, he was supposed to be on today. He bailed out on Monday, and you guys
Wow.
stepped up right away, and
Well,
were able to
thanks for the opportunity,
get the
Bob.
film. So
That's right. We're lucky.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna call him out, and then it's up to him to reschedule.
That's
But
right.
I just think it's funny that Carbon couldn't make it, and the two people from Carbon were here. So it's like we got Carbon anyways. But it's great. So thank you guys for everything that you're doing, for spending time with us today, and investing in this technology, and taking a risk and bringing it to people's attention. I think it's going to go a long way.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for your interest and for bringing this community together. It's great to be part of it.
All right, guys, thank you. We'll talk soon.
All right, take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody, I just want to thank you once again for being part of the show, for watching along, for listening along, and for really having an interest in manufacturing as a whole. It's an industry that is not going away, and we are going to continue to make a difference, whether that's in food and beverage, whether that's in cleaning up the environment, whether that's in the medical communities. We need more manufacturers. We need more people building, making, and getting involved with our communities. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions or you want to be part of the show, send us an email at tony@alliancelasersales.com. And we will be sure to answer that and find a way to get you connected with what we're doing and what we have going on. On behalf of myself, the Mantle team, the Alliance team, and everyone else, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Take care, and God bless.